Welcome to your weekly astrology forecast. My name is Adina. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and in these weekly videos, I go over the astrological energies for the week ahead. And in this video, we will be going over the energy for February 5th to the 11th of 2024. Now, I have gone back to the audio version for these forecasts because I'm feeling pulled towards that. I like to use my intuition and also deliver intuitive messages as well with these weekly forecasts. So let me know in the comments below what you prefer. If you prefer the charts, I will go back to the charts. But I don't know, I felt pulled to do the audio, so I've kind of gone back to the audio for the weekly forecasts. That way I can not just talk about the astrology, but also use my intuition to deliver the intuitive messages as well for the week ahead. Now, I do want to apologize for not posting a weekly forecast last week. I was sick, and when I sat down to record the weekly forecast, my brain just was not working properly. I was having a hard time connecting because obviously my energy was drained because I wasn't feeling well. So I just decided not to post the weekly forecast, which was a little irritating, especially having all planets direct now. And I had so much I wanted to do and launch, which I did a little bit. But sometimes it feels like when we plan on like moving forward and doing these big things, the universe plans something different to like slow us down for some reason or another. And so I do apologize for not posting the weekly forecast last week, but we are now back on track. I'm feeling a lot better. And so this week is a really big week because we have a major transit pretty much every single day this week. Starting right off on Monday, we have Mercury entering Aquarius, forming a conjunction of Pluto, and we also have Venus forming a square to Chiron. And so this week we start the activations of that Pluto energy in Aquarius. So Pluto ruling communication and information and news. I think collectively we're really going to be seeing a lot of information this week. There can be a lot of intense information coming out. This is also in our own individual lives where we can be shifting our mindset in some way. This is the week, all week this week. You want to be paying attention to what is surfacing for you when it has to do with emotions, when it has to do with your healing journey, with old trauma, when it has to do with insecurities. Right on Monday, when even having Mercury enter Aquarius and forming a conjunction to Pluto, at that same time, having Venus squaring Chiron shows that there really can be something bubbling to the surface coming into Monday when it has to do with some hurt, some vulnerabilities. It's Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer. Venus represents our needs, our wants, our desires. And so there can be a lot surfacing this week also around relationships to others, and in the relationship that you have with yourself. There can be this intense need this week to do things differently, to start thinking and acting outside of the box. Because not only do we have this challenging Venus energy, but we have a lot of Uranus energy. Uranus is about breaking free. Uranus is about doing things different, taking chances, risk taking. There can definitely be this energy of I'm ready. I'm ready to break free. I'm ready to start doing things differently. And the trick to this whole energy is going to be to trust divine timing, to trust that you're always on your highest timeline, to not be scared, to try something new, even when you don't know how it's going to work out, even when you don't have a plan. This is about taking risks. This is about thinking outside of the box and acting in ways possibly that you would not normally act. When it has to do with your self-development journey, when it has to do with healing, when it has to do with moving forward in a direction that you know is for your better good, your highest timeline. And when I'm saying this, I'm trying to clarify because I don't want to be sending the message that just take risks, take chances, and just do whatever the hell you want. No, this is about not being scared and wanting to break free almost from the chains that you've put upon yourself when it has to do with holding yourself back when you know you should be moving in this certain direction, whether it has to be with a relationship, whether it has to be with something you're moving through or direction you're moving into in your own personal life, whether it has to do with your healing journey and being scared to take chances because you're afraid you're going to get hurt. You're afraid that maybe things are not going to work out. We're in this energy of shifting that mindset and knowing that no matter what, you are okay. You are loved. You are divinely guided, and trying to release that fear so that you can take chances and move in a new direction is going to be key for this week. Now on Tuesday, when we have Venus forming a T-square to the lunar nodes, this is where there really can be tension arising within relationships or within your self-love or your self-worth, the relationship that you have with yourself. There's a lot of karmic energy showing up this week, and having that self-awareness to be able to see what is showing up. And this is again where you have to act. It's like this internal need to act different. Like maybe before you wouldn't go in a certain direction, or you wouldn't choose a certain path because of fear, scared to get hurt. This is about letting go of that. And when Venus forms a T-square to the lunar node, it's almost to this tension with what you need, want, and desire, and what others need, want, and desire. Because remember, we have the South Node in Libra, which does rule balance and relationships. This is about harmony. So this is about releasing what is preventing you from moving in that direction, whether it's psychological, whether it's your mindset, 'cause there's a lot right now around mindset, whether it is bringing old past trauma into your reality right now. So whatever is surfacing this week, having the ability to pick up on that, to pick up on what is showing up for you around insecurities or around self-love, or what is showing up for you around fears within relationships, that is going to be key to really, truly healing and moving through this energy. And this is about releasing karmic ties, releasing and letting go of old karmic cycles that you have possibly had for lifetimes, when it has to do with relationships and when it has to do with your relationship you have with yourself. That is what's really coming to a head this week. So pay attention the first half of the week to what is showing up for you within the relationship that you have with yourself, but also the relationship that you have with those in your life. This may be the time where you need to start doing things differently, possibly, reprogramming that subconscious, because a lot of times we can act and respond in certain ways just so unconsciously because it's what we're used to. It's the program that we have. And this is about reprogramming your own personal algorithm. That's always what I call it, your personal algorithm. Because, everything that we're feeding ourselves, what we're watching, what we're listening to, the people we surround ourselves with, it programs our body. We are like computers, and it programs our energy. And then when we're in certain situations, we react and respond a certain type of way. And being able to know and understand that is so important, especially when you're wanting to move in a new direction, when you're wanting to make different choices. Now on Wednesday, we have Venus forming a trine to Uranus. And this is what I like to think of as a beautiful surprise. Something really beautiful can be showing up. And remember that Uranus is disposited by Venus as well. Now, collectively, I think we could see a lot with our banking, money, financial systems at this time this week. This is a really big week for a lot of information coming out. So we want to be paying attention to throughout the week to what is being presented online. There could be a lot around AI, which we just seen those Taylor Swift AI photos being leaked. There's definitely going to be a lot more of that over the next few months. I talk about this in my new moon in Aquarius forecast, which I will be posting shortly after this one. So make sure you check that out, because I go into the chart and also into all 12 rising signs. Oh, and make sure you check out the monthly horoscopes as well that I've posted. The monthly rising sign horoscopes, I go through each week of the month, giving you a really good understanding of the energies that we're navigating for the entire month. So make sure you also check those out. But this is where there can be a lot of information coming out about the internet, about AI. Like we're seeing a lot about cyber attacks. So there can be more on that, especially on Monday when we have that Pluto conjunction, the Mercury conjunction of Pluto. But when we have this Venus trine to Uranus, Uranus being in Taurus, which rules money, finances, Venus generally ruling money and finances, there can definitely be something around money and finances throughout the first half of the week or throughout this entire week, because Venus is quite prominent this week. So we do want to be watching for that. In your own individual life, this can be some really powerful insight to help you through whatever it is you're navigating right now. Uranus is the great awakener. And when Uranus and Venus have this trine, this is where you really can have that internal desire to break free from something, to do something different, to, I'm getting this feeling too of like feeling different, acting different, just completely breaking free from what you're used to, how you normally would react or respond. Like there is this internal desire to just break free. That's what I'm really feeling, is just breaking free. And this is when it really comes to a head. And it could be, whatever is activated with the Venus square to Chiron, then Venus T-squaring the nodes, and then the next day Venus forms a trine to Uranus. It's like, okay, I'm ready. I've been through this. Now I know it's bubbling to the surface. I know what's coming up for me. I know how I have to heal. And now I want to break free. Now I want to do this. I want to move in this new direction. I'm ready to take a chance. And then on Thursday, the 8th, we have the Sun forming a square to Uranus. And this is where there can be a block, an energy block. If you're trying to connect or, the insights that you've gained kind of through the week and what that Venus trying to Uranus. I look at these Sun square Uranus because the Sun rules our consciousness and Uranus is literally the electrical systems in our body. So there can be some anxiety this day, but this can also be a day where you can feel a little like it's harder to connect to the energies. This can also be, again, restlessness. There can be a lot of restlessness on Thursday with the Sun square to Uranus. There is this internal need to break free and do things different, but then there's this restlessness of like, okay, how? What direction do I move in? Like, how am I going to apply this? How am I going to, what direction am I moving in? How am I changing? How am I shifting this up? Like, there's this need for change, but this restlessness on how to do that change, if that makes sense. This can also be very rebellious energy. Uranus is very rebellious. So I think we'll see a lot collectively at this time. Collectively, this can be where a lot of people are, I think we're going to see the month of February. I talk about this in the monthly forecasts. We're going to see a lot of people standing up for what they believe in right now. There's a lot of passion around people's belief systems, and whatever those beliefs are, whether it's political, whether it has to do with cultural beliefs, right? Like a lot of people feel so passionate about what they believe in. And I think that February is a huge month because of the Pluto activations in Aquarius ruling the people, the collective. I think this is really where we see a lot of people standing up, especially when we have Mars conjunct, which is going to be the following week. We have Mars conjunct Pluto next week. Well, not this week, but the week after. And that is where things can become very volatile because Mars can rule anger, aggression, conflict. And Pluto can be very deep, very intense. There can be a lot of power and control dynamics in certain scenarios. And we're seeing a lot of people protesting around the world for many different things. And I think that's really going to amp up the entire month of February with all this Aquarius energy. In your own individual life, in your own life, in your own birth chart, you want to know where you have Aquarius because there is a lot of focus on this area of life. There can be a lot of changes and transformation taking place in this area of life. And I talk about this in the monthly horoscopes where there's so much Aquarius energy. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and that's what is bringing in that feeling of breaking free. Like this is the month to do things different, to take chances, to take risks, to break free. So getting back on track, on Thursday when we have the Sun square to Uranus, this is where there can be some restlessness around that, some tension around that, where there is this internal need and desire, but there is a not knowing on what that change is. There's a not knowing on the direction you have to move in. And then on Friday, we have our new moon in Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus. And this new moon is squaring Uranus. So check out the new moon in Aquarius forecast, where I go into the chart and also into all 12 rising signs. And that will give you an idea of how this new moon is showing up for you in the areas of life that are being activated by this new moon. But this new moon, again, is about breaking free. And I really think that this new moon is setting the tone for the next 6 months of what we are about to see in world events, especially around the people, the collective, the changes that are taking place within the collective, the people standing up, the protests. When we look at Texas, right? There's a lot going on in Texas. I've been talking about this for months, that we had to watch Texas, that something was going to happen because of the eclipses. The one eclipse went through Texas, and in April, we have another eclipse going right through Texas. So things are about to amp up in Texas, and there's going to be a buildup until that point. So we want to be paying attention to Texas. We want to be paying attention to, look at all the farmers, protesting. People are protesting for everything. People believe so strongly about freedoms that, and this is where we can see that amp up, because Aquarius is a very kind of freedom energy where you want to be free. You want to do things different. You also want to be a little rebellious. You don't necessarily care about societal norms or care about how everybody else is doing it. If you believe in something so strong, you're willing to do it. You're willing to move forward. And that's kind of the energy that we're in. And we're going to move through it, each in our own individual way, individually and as a collective, as a whole. And we're really going to see, the month of February, what this energy is going to bring, how this is going to play out. We're going to see a lot also on the internet and around AI. That's also ruled by Aquarius. That Taylor Swift AI photos that came out, I think, is kind of showing us what's to come. It's getting to a point where we have to have that discernment. 2023 was the year of really establishing a strong spiritual practice and a strong intuition, because you're going to need it moving forward. 2024 and beyond, you're going to need it, because it's going to be so hard to know what is real, what is not real, what is true, what is not true, especially on the internet. AI is making life more almost illusionary, right? Now, also having Saturn in Pisces, which Saturn is actually dispositing a lot of the energy right now, which is why I have talked about it. And I think I talked about this in my monthly horoscopes too, where when we go back to Saturn, which is the kind of the energy that is dispositing almost all the other energy kind of going on, it all goes back to Saturn and Pisces. So this is where it's about taking accountability and responsibility for your energy, for yourself, for your spiritual body, for what you're bringing into your reality. This is about owning your own self and knowing that you're the one that creates your reality. You're the one that brings certain experiences into your life. And with this Saturn and Pisces energy, that is where a lot too can be surfacing, where you're really almost realizing that, whatever frequency you're vibrating at and your beliefs, right? That is what is going to create your reality. So I hope that's kind of making sense. Now on Saturday the 10th, we have Mercury squaring Jupiter. Mercury being in Aquarius at this point. And this is a need and a want to, it's like thinking bigger, wanting to think outside of the box. There could be a lot of thoughts going on at this time. There can be a lot of overthinking as well with this this Mercury square to Jupiter. There could be an exaggeration of thoughts and expression. So collectively, we can be seeing a lot of people verbalizing almost how they're feeling and what they want, what they need, and all of that on the internet, verbalizing their beliefs and their thoughts. This can definitely be a thing. This is where we can also, I think we're going to see more on the internet and around AI at this point next weekend. There's definitely going to be something showing up with this energy similar to the Taylor Swift. And I'm going to start to get maybe some when I do my monthly collective forecast, which I haven't recorded it yet for February, but I'm going to, because I want to start getting like news clips so that you guys can see how these energies really true manifest in our physical reality when certain things happen, like astrologically, when we have certain transits, how that shows up in our life, because we don't always know what's going on around the world, and sometimes the astrology can be very literal. So I want to start kind of getting some news articles and talking about that for the monthly collective forecast. But having Mercury squaring Jupiter, I think there's going to be a lot on the internet. I think there's going to be a lot online. I think there's going to be a lot of information. We can be bombarded with information at this point. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, overwhelming. So there can just be a lot going on mentally on Saturday, individually and collectively. Which I want to touch on that, because in your own individual life, you can be feeling very mentally overwhelmed with this Mercury square to Jupiter. And so kind of trying to slow your mind down, not overthink, because overthinking can be a really big thing with this energy. So trying not to overthink, overanalyze, trying to keep that mentality of going with the flow, trusting that you're always on divine timing, not getting in your own head is going to be key for navigating this Mercury square to Jupiter on Saturday. And then on Sunday the 11th, we begin the 2-week transit with this North Node Chiron conjunction. And this is where there can be amazing healing and spiritual growth taking place. So you want to be paying attention to what is surfacing, beginning this week. What is activated with that Venus T-square to the lunar nodes? This can be more to that energy. Whatever tension arised and whatever hurt or trauma kind of bubbled to the surface this week, now is the time to heal. This is about ending karmic cycles and karmic patterns that you may have been in for lifetimes. The nodes are very karmic, and the North Node represents this new journey, new direction, something new. It's the path and the direction that we're moving into. And so there can be a lot here that needs to be released and let go of, and a lot here that can be ending so that you can move into this new chapter of your life, so that you can heal on a soul level and truly evolve into an amazing spiritual being and finally be on your highest timeline. And I hope that makes sense. Over the next 2 weeks, we want to pay attention to what is showing up internally, because this is going to show us the hurt that we're still holding on to, what still needs to be healed, and what can be possibly holding us back on our journey and preventing us from moving forward, from living on our highest timeline and really manifesting in our physical reality. So pay attention to what is showing up through the entire week, because we have that Venus T-square to the nodes, which I think is when there's something triggered or activated. And then with this North Node Chiron conjunction, this is where we are truly having the ability to heal on such a deep spiritual level that can completely change the trajectory of our journey, of our life, and the direction that we are moving into. This can be an energy of finally healing from the past, finally being able to let things go and heal and actually move on and not hold on to that emotional trauma anymore that you've possibly had, not just this entire life, but like I mentioned before, past lifetimes. This is really going to change the direction that you're moving in energetically, spiritually. So pay attention over the next 2 weeks, and I'll talk more about this, but pay attention what is showing up for you internally, what is being triggered also, what is being triggered right now, because we're in this time of triggers, right? And we get triggered and we have things bubble up so that we can heal and move through that. So pay attention to what is showing up for you, what is bubbling to the surface, so that you can heal and finally release, let go, and move on. Now, I hope that this helps you all kind of get an idea of the energies for the week ahead. Again, let me know in the comments below if you guys prefer the charts or the audio. I think I'm feeling the audio again a lot more, because I like to use my intuition and use it a little bit more as like a podcast type thing. and just kind of say what's coming to my mind, what I'm feeling intuitively, not just focusing on the charts. But let me know in the comments below what you all think. Again, don't forget to check out the monthly rising sign horoscopes. I post them on the first day of every month. This is a new thing, so I will be posting them on the first. I wanted to start once all planets were direct, so we now have all planets direct. So I will be launching and implementing a whole bunch of new stuff. I will also be recording my collective forecast for February, but I want to get some news articles and do a little bit of research. So watch for that. And also go follow me on TikTok, because I'm on TikTok and I will be starting to go live again, where I offer $10 readings and we look at your birth chart and the current energy and really get an idea of the energies that you're currently moving in and will be for 2024. So it's like a little mini reading. It's only $10. So if you're not following me on TikTok, make sure you do so. And thank you again so much for joining me, and I will connect with you all in the next one.